The day has finally arrived. One Day Leader Season 6 is back on SABC 1 Mzansi for sure. Good day, Mzansi. My name is Pearl Shongwe. Well, last year was my first year of hosting this show, and I must say that's where I discovered just how much leadership talent this country had to offer. My fondest memory was certainly the finale. That explosive showdown between Lebu and Sydney was definitely inspiring. Well, we're back this season. A new crop of leaders are coming through, and I'm quite excited to meeting the newest and brightest leadership talent that this country has to offer. Well, many of you watching last season certainly contributed to making the show a huge success. We thank you so much for your continued support. Well, Mzansi, the time is right now. One Day Leader Season 6. Are you ready? Welcome, South Africa. It is a great honor to be hosting you on the 6th season of One Day Leader. Well, this year, once again, thousands of young South Africans sent us entries to take a chance at being the next One Day Leader. Well, from the level of interaction that our production team received from the entries, it's quite evident that the youth of South Africa certainly have the capacity to lead. Now, to kickstart the show, I'd like to share with you a positive intervention that our previous contestants undertook. As Jim Rom once said, all good men and women must take responsibility to create legacies that will take the next generation to a level which only we could imagine. And that is exactly what our previous contestants did in the community of Alexandria. Now, let's take a look.
It's a really exciting feeling to know that I can stretch out my hand and help 60-odd kids, and I'm just so grateful that I was able to do it with my friends and the people that I work with on a regular. So yeah, it's a great feeling to help other people.
This is a counseling room that's here to basically help people when they're like not feeling too well in terms of like their issues and stuff. To just make it look vibrant and make it look like a very welcoming space is really, really cool. I'm enjoying being a part of that, knowing that when we leave here, it's going to make a positive impact in someone's life. So yeah, man, yo.
When we see artists performing Rabashabeles on our television screens, we often forget that they are human. So having them participate in us trying to rebuild the center is something that Banaba, the Batland to the Two-Song Center, are going to remember for a very long time.
Ke thabile gagolo gona le bana ba ka tlang go ba leboga bana ba One Day Leader bana ba le banketseitse motlholo gore ha nke se ka bona se ke leng sona today nke ke se sona. So I just want to say to them, God must always bless them. Whatever they are doing, ba tswele pele ka se ba se etsang.
Well done to our previous contestants for their sterling work in refurbishing the Two-Song Youth Centre. We hope that this legacy outlives even our great-grandchildren. This year, I'm hoping our new contestants will leave a legacy that they too will remember for a lifetime. But how could they achieve that without our long-standing judges? South Africa, they are back to challenge, to judge and mentor our contestants. If you're joining us for the first time and you do not know who I'm talking about, sit back and take note.
The reason that I started Read a Book Essay was because it's important for us to develop a reading culture in South Africa. We're a developing country with people with immense potential, great infrastructure. It's a beautiful country. But then we need to build our human capital in order for them to become globally competitive. And one of the ways is to inspire them to read books for pleasure. I'm looking forward to seeing the future leaders of the country as we develop them, but I want to see them, take initiative. A lot of things that we see amongst leaders is that we think that leadership is all about us, when in fact you're trying to bring out the best in the people who you're working with, and you have to be chosen by them. And so I want to see a lot of these leaders create their opportunities and be prepared, because they say that success is where opportunity meets preparation. My name is Tebogo Ditego. I'm the CEO of Ditego Media and the CEO of Ditego Investment Group, as well as the founder of Read a Book Essay.
I've been very passionate about the environment and climate change since as far back as I can remember. It all started to culminate when I became the first Miss Earth South Africa, and thereafter I decided to set up an organization here in South Africa when I returned home from the Philippines. And my passion and drive has been to really empower South African women to take a more important role in society when it comes to climate change, water, food and energy. Looking at how can women play an important role within their communities and take that further to look at career opportunities within the space, so that we ensure that we have powerful women in all corners of our country who are championing sustainability, environmental issues and climate. In South Africa right now, the most important thing we could give to our youth is empowering them with unlocking their own leadership potential. My name is Catherine Constantinides. I'm an international climate activist, social entrepreneur and humanitarian.
Looking at the caliber of mentors, South Africa is indeed in good hands. I have a feeling that this season the contestants need to brace themselves for an exciting but equally grueling journey. These judges mean serious business. Remember, One Day Leader is a competitive reality TV program where we groom potential leaders into being future leaders. And it's up to our judges that we get the creme de la creme. Well, as I take you to an ad break, make sure that you don't touch that dial. You'll get to see the judges in action as they go through the grueling process to get to our top 20. Salanati. Mpindeng namugele go One Day Leader Season 6. If you are joining us for the first time, One Day Leader is a program that uses exciting debate and weekly tasks to unpack issues facing South Africa. A month ago, we had a call to action where we asked young leaders from across the country to send us their profiles and videos in order to be selected as contestants on our show. Over 1,000 contestants entered this season, and we had to go through a long selection process from the top 180 to the top 90, and then from the top 90 down to the top 45. The brief was simple, Mzansi. Give us a personal introduction of yourself, a vision for South Africa going into the future, and if you had to share a message with the whole world, what would it be? Let's hear what our potential leaders had to say.
I think this year might be even more competitive than last year.
I have no doubt. I'm excited to hear what you thought of some of the participants, and as we go through the 45, it's going to be interesting to see who's going to be the final top 20 and then who our final 6 leaders are going to be.
You know, what's interesting for me is how these leaders are so inspired despite their diverse background.
Absolutely.
So I think it's time.
Yes, let's do it.
I think you should do it.
This young gentleman speaking is Frank Matome Magor, who is dark in complexion but bright in aspirations. A young 20-year-old who is a sure patriot for the service of our beautiful land. I see a South Africa that invests more into its young people with an understanding that we're a young economy, and therefore the young people are key to driving the economy forward. My initial thought was that his energy was a bit low, although I think his vision was very inspiring, talking about investing in young people, developing Africa holistically.
I like this guy. I don't know what it is about him. It's something I really like about him, and I think that he has a vision, and that vision is bright and it is inspiring, just like you say. So for me, I think Frank's got a good chance to be in our top 20.
I want to see South Africa take its place as a positive player on the world stage, not only economically, but also socially and culturally, as our culture is so unique.
My vision for South Africa in relation with the rest of the world is quality education and true mental liberation. I honestly believe that as a nation, we are capable of integrity-driven leadership.
I loved her. For me, she is definitely, no doubt, top 20. I think she's clear. She is just, there's something so strong about her. I loved her message for the world.
I think she's a potential top 20.
No,
she just
definitely top 20. Definitely.
She just doesn't seem too sure about herself. And I think there's a little bit of doubt that I saw in the video. But I need more energy. I need her to be more sure about herself.
Sure.
My vision for the future of South Africa is to stimulate 3 main drivers that will ultimately yield long-term growth for the country, and that is through capital, labor and technology.
A plan that will move us from being the biggest importers to exporters.
The greatest thing I think I would want to change is how people lead the country.
Free from past inequalities, where each and every South African citizen is afforded the opportunity to realize their dream.
However, this will only remain a vision until the young mind of a South African receives the education it deserves.
Helen Keller said, the worst thing than being blind is having sight but no vision.
The world belongs to the future, and the future is now. The globe has produced millions of young people with skills, abilities, and intellect that can drive this world towards where we ought to see it.
Hi, my name is Kola Smusi, who is a Pan-Africanist who believes in Afrocentric policies. Now, as a Pan-Africanist, I see South Africa as the global gateway into Africa, providing opportunities for economic growth as well as development. Furthermore, I envision South Africa embracing the diversity of its people.
Police started that video on like a house on fire. I was so impressed. You know, when she jumped up and down, and that is what we're talking about. As a leader, you try different things, you try something new.
I love her passion for looking at the continent as a whole.
I'm so inspired by the videos, all of the videos. Even the one that should have been sent to the army. I'm inspired by that. And it gives me so much hope in the future of our country. And I think my message to young people is that they must just believe in their dreams, set dreams that perhaps you may not be realistic to somebody who's watching, but as long as they're realistic to you, that's all that matters.
Well, the judges have made their decision as to who has made it to our top 20. Catherine, I just want to get your thoughts, or your first impression on the video entries that you saw.
So it was really an interesting process for us to have a look at those videos. But this is certainly going to be an exciting season filled with dynamic young leaders, but they have to make sure that they hit the benchmark every time, because this is not going to be an easy road.
Deboho, it's a fresh new season. What are your expectations this season?
Well, I expect leaders to take it to the next level. We want creative, innovative leaders, and we want leaders who are going to respond to the challenges of the country and become the leaders of the 21st century that we need.
Judges, once again, welcome. Now let's take a look at some of the contestants who have indeed made it thus far.
Starting from the top 90, I was overwhelmed. I was like, yeah, I was hopeful. I'm still hopeful. I'm happy. I'm happy.
For me, already this is an achievement, to be quite honest with you. I mean, it's a TV show that I'm sure it has a huge following, so I'm sure the applications come in numbers.
So look, 5,000 applicants, top 20. So I mean, it's a great feeling.
Well, South Africa, without further delay, here are the final top 20 contestants. Judges. Catherine, every leader needs to possess a set of qualities that will make them stand out from the rest. What sort of qualities are you looking for this season?
I think the most important quality I'm looking for is the potential to grow, the potential to learn, and to really immerse yourself in this journey. That is an important opportunity, not just for the show, but it's a life lesson for each and every one of you. There's a message behind everything that you do. When you go into communities, it's an opportunity to leave a part of you behind. What are you going to make of that?
The leaders last season set the bar quite high. These contestants here today have a mountain to climb. If they think this season is going to be easy, they've got another thing coming. What's your advice to our new crop of leaders?
Well, firstly, congratulations on making it this far. I think it's a big achievement, and I think they should be proud of you at home. I think what's very important for me is taking initiative. That is essentially what leadership is all about. Leadership starts from within. So you start by leading yourself before you can lead others, and bring the best out of other people. That is essentially very important as a leader. It's not about you, it's about the people, it's about the vision. So don't necessarily personalize it and say, oh, it's all about me being a one-day leader. It's all about making the nation better. And I hope that's what you're going to do.
Once again, thank you very much, judges, for your contribution. I will now get our One Day Leader Season 6 debate topics. Now, in this box are the debate topics for today and the name of the person our contestants will be teaming up with for this all-important debate. Well, finalists, you have heard our judges. You know what is expected from you. It's either you step up or step up. Time for us to take a quick break. After that, we kick off the debate challenges to select our top 6 contestants for One Day Leader Season 6.
My debate topic is about Africa and actually moving towards the federation of having a United States of Africa. So I have to argue against that topic to say that why wouldn't that be economically viable at this stage and point?
Debate topic basically speaks about the relevance of rehabilitation centers and communities. I believe that South Africa is an evolving country, and we can't have a generic solution to the one of substance abuse. We need to have one that is applicable to that community. If we need to enlighten our young people that you're going to drop out of high school, you're going to drop out of university.
Welcome back to One Day Leader, a competitive reality TV show that grooms potential leaders into being future leaders. Ikamalami Upel Shongwe. Now, by the end of this episode, we will know who the top 6 contenders of this season will be. Now, we're ready to kickstart our first round of debates. Contestants, I'll take you through the rules. You have 30 seconds of uninterrupted speech. 60 seconds, you will debate the topic. And the remaining 30 seconds of uninterrupted speech. The contestant with the envelope, what is your topic?
With the family structure changing, couples splitting up, couples choosing not to marry, gay couples having children, and grandparents raising children, is the traditional family structure still relevant?
Your 30 seconds starts now.
Okay, we live in a society that is rife with rape culture, where women are killed for loving differently. Why? Because of a heteropatriarchy. Let me break it down. The family structure as it is, it does a huge disservice to children. We've defined masculinity as a small, hard cage in which children, boy children, are afraid of fear. This translates into how they interact with society. We need to change how we raise children and discontinue gendered binaries. Blue is not just for boys, it's for boys and girls, and so is everything else in society.
Your time is up. 60 seconds starts now.
Yeah, if we could just get back onto the topic, I think that if you're talking about identity, that the most
like obvious place for that is the traditional family, because there you have a sense of security. The child grows up in a place where there is psychological security within a marriage covenant.
Einstein says, you know, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results is insanity, right? And we have proof in a society where lesbians are getting killed, where we have the highest.
That's happening, but why are you saying that? But why are you saying that is the result of traditional family?
Surely that can be the result of a number of different things. Male and female are historic constructs. They're nothing to do with biological. So the fact that from when I'm little, I'm told that blue is for boys and red is for girls, that is silly, and that is what creates this toxic masculinity where boys have to feel.
This is to do with the security of a child and how they grow in the best environment.
How are you secure as a child if you are being raised in a family where parents have to be together just for your sake, and that
they don't necessarily have to be together just for your sake.
Your time is up. Thank you, contestants. It's your turn.
Yes, marriage is a covenant. It gives a sense of security, not only to the people who are involved in the marriage, but also to the family unit. When a child grows up, they need psychological security in order to grow into their identity. This determines what they're going to contribute to society. Look back at the caveman days, where we've come from. The man, the father figure, he was the hunter and he was the protector, whereas the woman was the nurturer, she was the gatherer. There was social security. There's interpersonal security through marriage and through family. And although now we are in a state where the social security is largely gone, we must not forget.
Thank you very much. Your time is up. Judges, that was the first round of debates. Interesting views, different views coming through from our contestants. Debogo, I'll give you a chance to give us your thoughts on that debate.
Catherine's veto, Catherine, you did a great job. You listened, you were very poised, clear. I think you also had the easier topic to lean towards. And Siadimo, I see a lot of potential in you, but I think you may have gotten stuck in a lot of the theory which is trying to shift the thinking of society. But I think you both did a fantastic job.
Catherine, your thoughts on the first debate?
I do think that we've kicked off and started with two very powerful and strong young leaders. So I think this really sets the tone for the leaders that we'll see come in.
All right, judges, thank you very, very much. That was our first debate that we've just kicked off. It is time for us now to get into round two of our debates. Good afternoon to you. What's your topic?
Our topic is the fast pace of today's world has seen the rise in the culture of casual and risky sexual experience amongst the youth. Who should take primary responsibility to encourage a healthier attitude towards sexual encounters, schools or family?
All right. Now you have your 30 seconds.
Okay. As a leader, I would prefer both schools and parents to take equal responsibility. But if I have to choose, I'd choose school, right? You spend more time at school, so school have more influence. Schools can be regulated and guided what they teach according to research, which is important. And what about the kids that do not have parents? Where do they learn? Besides schools being already a platform for learning, it is an easier environment to learn sexual behavior, especially when looking at the communication culture of conservative parents and the youth existing in South Africa. And as a black female...
Thank you very much. Your time is up. You now have 60 seconds, leaders, to debate the topic.
Consider the impact that your solutions will have to the majority of the society. You realize that they are marginal. How are you going to make sure that people in rural areas get this information because they don't have enough resources?
But you know, by depending on families to actually teach or educate the
accessibility, students, resources in rural areas, accessibility, how are they going to get information? There isn't enough schools already in our country. We don't have enough schools. How are they going to accessibility? How are they going to access that kind of information? Answer my question. You're not answering my question. Please answer my question.
You are not allowing me to talk.
Answer my question.
You are not allowing me to talk. How am I going to talk if you're not allowing me?
Talk.
What I'm saying is the youth, the families already in South Africa are not well aware of safe health and sexuality.
And also, why don't we start in primary schools? Because you're just saying schools and the youth. Why don't we start in primary schools? Because that's where the behavior starts. Why don't we start in primary schools?
And already schools have the platform for learning. Schools will be the best solution rather than families. And also, research shows that students take social cues from their schools.
All right, the time is up. You have the remaining 30 seconds.
South Africa, the biggest crime our families can ever commit is to not educate children about sex from a tender age. The first education that we receive when we were born is from our families. Now, how can we solve this problem of sex and rape culture? We create programs in primary schools. We start from a tender age. The second thing that we should do is to encourage more conversations with our children at home so that they get used to knowing about rape culture. And the third thing that we can do is to involve the community. Now, statistics have shown that over 50% of rape cases in South Africa get reported every year. And the
Thank you
second
very
thing
much,
is that
leaders. Your time is up. But judges, second round of debates, different views once again. What are your impressions of that debate, Catherine?
Zongizi, you blew me away. You opened your mouth and within 5 seconds, you had me. I was listening to you. I was really taken. You have a very strong competitor. And I think that you came in very strong and then you took it and the game was then yours.
All right, Tebogo, your thoughts and impressions?
Well, I was actually surprised by Zongezile. He may have been like a butterfly in a cocoon, and he came out of his cocoon today. I actually expected Kola to listen more to the discussion that was happening. I think one thing that people need to understand at home is when we debate, we don't just debate to win, but we debate to get closer to the truth. That is the lesson. Let's listen to the other side and respond to what they're saying.
The debate was very enjoyable. It was very interesting. Very, very interesting. I enjoyed it. You know, a little bit of nerves, molly, but I think I did very good, and I hope I make it to the top 6, eh? I hope I make it to the top 6. But yeah, it was really, really nice. I enjoyed it.
Leaders, welcome to One Day Leader. Your 30 seconds starts now.
My argument is yes, it is effective. The right resources are being used. What I mean by right resources, I'm talking about the resources that are, the activities that are partaking within the rehab facilities. Being you're learning, you're learning about how much substance abuse has an effect within your life. And you're getting peer support. You're getting peer support from people who've experienced the very same thing that you're going through. You're going through the very same journey. And this...
Your time is up. Your 60 seconds starts now.
Clarity-seeking question. You're talking about learning, but how many people actually do engage in going into rehabilitation centers? We found that in the context of South Africa, many of our young people don't go into centers to get rehabilitation. Now, that is why we find Idaha Newunga prevalent in the streets of South Africa. Now, this is why we are saying we need more community centers as opposed to rehabilitation centers. The reason being, the social ills that exist is what we need to resolve in this country, not being drugs. The reason why
Feel free to engage.
Learning is a personal choice. If you don't feel like learning, then nobody else can force you to learn. It's just like education. There is education, but what are you doing after that?
The aim of the centers is to go out into the communities and engage young people.
The government is only doing so much. They're putting in initiative. They're doing what they can. If you want to change, it all boils down to self-discipline. If you're willing to change as a person, then you will definitely do so. The government is doing so much in means of what? Providing rehab.
Thank you very much, contestants. The 60 seconds is up. You have the remaining 30 seconds.
Now, what this debate has just presented to us is that young people have the choice to go in or not to go in. What we're debating today is if this rehabilitation center is combating drug abuse, which is not happening. Reason being, it is not solving the cause of drug abuse in our communities. We found that there are many centers which have redirected their focus in terms of community development to being one of community centers.
Thank you very much, contestants. Your time is up. Judges, once again, I come over to you.
I think that Kuhle Konke has really given us energy. She's really come out, and she reminds me of her entry video, which keeps stuck in my head because there was a Christmas tree in her video and I have to make mention of that. The kinds of communication skills that these leaders bring to the party need to be multifaceted. I want eye contact. I want you to look at us, engage with us, or engage with each other. When Abatha was looking at the floor for her entire introduction, she lost me. I was not connected to her content. I was not convinced as to what she was saying, and I was completely lost.
I'm excited. I can't lie, and I'm also nervous at the same time because I want to be in the top 6. And it's going to be a challenge because I'm competing with the person that has been here for many times, and this is my first time.
This is my second time. I was in the top 20 again last year, so I'm really hoping for the best this time around. I entered again because I felt like there's a lot of potential that could be unleashed in me. There's a lot of leadership potential. I've been a leader my whole life, and I just want to be able to showcase my skills and inspire South Africans around the country.
All right, you have 30 seconds.
I believe
that those who have relapsed should not be punished, but they should be treated, because 90% of the people who are addicts in this country are black people, and the majority of those people, they are coming from the shacks. Majority of those people are coming from impoverished backgrounds. So if you punish poor people for being addicts, we are not doing justice to our society. We are not doing justice to this country. Government led by Malusi Gigaba.
Thank you very much. Your time is up. You now have 60 seconds to engage. Engage, leaders.
Okay. It's what I believe in, that we should treat our people.
All right.
We should not punish our people.
Did you know that one of the problems is that our society actually judges drug users by the type of drug that they're on? So what about the office colleague who is taking toxic pills hour after hour and is actually an addict? And we know that the workplace is a place of productivity for this country, which affects their economy, and is also to blame for some of the disparities in our lack of economic progress in this country. So how do you, because there are some addicts who you can't tell they're an addict, as I said. Some people may be addicted to other things like body mutilation, the nightlife, or food. How do you treat an addict that you don't know is on a drug?
That's why I say we should pump in, as government, we should pump in money into rehabilitation centers and hire competent people who will train our people. Give me a chance. Who will train our people and give people our skills, so that after completion of the rehabilitation.
All right, thank you very much. Your time is up. 30 seconds.
Okay, the thing a drug user needs to be told is that yes, you may have a problem, but you are certainly not the problem. As I said, this country judges people by the type of drugs that they're on. To be on a drug means to alter your body's natural state. We don't punish coffee drinkers, and yet caffeine is the world's most largely used psychoactive drug. Psychoactive meaning it affects your brain, it affects your mind, and it also stimulates your central nervous system.
Thank you very much. Your time is up. Judges, I can see how focused you were on that debate there. Indeed, very interesting views coming through there in different perspectives as well. Catherine, your take on that debate?
There's some debates that you really wish they had an extra minute on either side, because you were just getting to a point and I wanted to hear what you had to say. And then you come in with this grace and strength and calmness.
I'm very satisfied that the judges were impressed with us, and they actually wished that we had more time to debate. So I'm really happy about how it went.
But then I'm complaining about the time. The time is too little, man. Some of our ideas and what we believe in, they are not told.
While you at home, remember you can also join in the conversation. Let us know who you think will make it onto the final top 6. Remember, you can connect with us on our Facebook page. It is One Day Leader SA, or you can tweet us at One Day Leader. Of course, you can use that all-important hashtag and keep us trending at One Day Leader 6. It is time for us to take a quick break. Welcome back. You are still watching One Day Leader Season 6 here on SABC 1 Mzansi for sure. Now, we just had some very compelling first round of debates. I'm sure you at home agree. We're now just one step closer to deciding on our final top 6. Will any of the contestants we've just seen make it to the final 6? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. We need to get into our next round of debates. But first, let's see the One Day Leader House.
The One Day Leader House is situated in the northern suburbs of Johannesburg. This is where the 6 contenders of the season will be based for the next 3 months. But more than just living here, the 6 will be receiving their tasks and valuable guidance on how to use their visionary ideas to affect positive change. And as the debates continued, some impressed the judges, while others left the judges lukewarm. But as the time to announce the final top 6 came closer, the remaining contenders were determined to break a leg and take no prisoners.
I might be the youngest contestant in the competition, but allow me to stand my ground, because I've got the statistics, the facts, and most importantly, the best solutions. Our African leaders are not doing enough. Interjection. 50% 54% bombing and explosions of Boko Haram, 59.2 numbers of kidnapping in London and France, 84.62 enslavements of black people. The statistics are uneuphemetically horrible. Here are my points. Firstly,
Boko Haram have taken over 20,000 lives. They've also displaced over 26 million people.
I get your facts.
And created over 75,000
Our leaders, our African leaders, must stop the flow of terrorist funds. Okay,
by
stop
terrorist funds, what do you mean by terrorist funds?
They should stop, the rich countries must stop funding constitutions of religious schools without doing proper background checks.
Let's take a look at the lack of political will.
I strictly say,
let's take
screening
please
of people.
Thank you very much, leaders. Time is up. You have 30 seconds.
If I were the president of South Africa, with the strength of my lungs, I am hungry to get these terrorists to an end. I don't say goodbye anymore, but instead, I'll meet you all at the top. Thank you.
Thank you very much, contestants.
What was hard is that every time I tried talking, my partner would interject. So it will be hard trying to say all my points, which I couldn't, but then I tried.
Your time is up. You now have 60 seconds.
I hear you talking about Habli not being as bad as cigarettes, but the World Health Organization has proved and has been saying over and over again that Habli is as harmful as cigarettes. So what do you have to say about that?
With the sense of we are unable to control it, we can use it as a government to our own advantage, because it is...
How do we go about using it?
Okay, so because banning a substance has never eradicated it, it only makes people inquisitive, and it will be sold underground and illegally.
But what message does it send to the coming generation?
Indeed, but
think about your baby sister. Think about the child next door who's still in primary school.
I agree.
What message does it send to the nation?
But an 18-year-old child is knowledgeable of the effects of smoking.
Think about a 7-year-old.
A 7-year-old,
as far as 18.
But a parent,
a 12-year-old.
Should a parent be aware of a child who has been smoking? The parent has a right to go to where this...
Time is up.
Oh my God. It was so intense. It was so intense. I think we had little time. I think about Rupido or something, but it was so intense. It's been a while. Okay, so I feel that rush, But it was great. It was a great experience.
You've got 30 seconds.
Okay, in my point of view, in South Africa, from primary school up until high school, education is free. Now, recently, the government has announced free education in tertiary as well. But now we have to also note that the unemployment rate every year it increases. So now, which means that the education that we have is not as effective, which gives the social media power compared to the traditional education. So to the society out there.
All right, your time is up. You guys have 60 seconds to engage.
Okay, with the young people, with 90% of young people on social media, we find that they have a misconception that whatever those people have acquired through YouTube, through everything that...
Continue.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Let me cut in straight quickly. We have Sandy Leshezi. We have one of the contestants, Kanyiso Ngape. He was wearing a beautiful suit. That suit, he made it out of his own. He created it. He learned a skill through YouTube.
To bring us back to the point. To bring us back to the point. The point is social media telling us that people... Okay, the views that we get through social medias of people being successful.
Let me help you quickly. We have a lot of people that are successful only via social media. They've got that skill through YouTube. I know a lot of people, like I was mentioning, Sandy Leshez, we all know he's one of the millionaires.
Time is up, but thank you very much. The remaining 30 seconds belongs to you.
Okay. Until the unconventional careers and the way social media brings out the successes as... it was not how I planned it to be. As... okay, sorry. I don't know. My partner kind of presented the topic, I don't know, south, and it really messed up my mind.
We'll give you a moment.
All right, sorry.
So that threw me off. But yeah, it was an experience that I think I'll treasure for a long time.
Well, we've seen 18 out of the 20 leaders debate it out. We now have the remaining 2 here on the One Day Leader podium. Welcome to One Day Leader. Your time starts now.
The fact that the topic itself states that the LGBTI term is becoming common is to say that it's a fairly new concept to South Africans. If you were to go on the streets and ask everyday citizens what it even means or stands for, very few would know. Before we make such a radical step, we must first educate people on the LGBTI community for their safety. If you were to put a lesbian in a bathroom full of men who are probably homophobic, I do not need to tell you what would happen. The question shouldn't be whether it should be allowed, it should be whether society
Your time is
ready
up. You now
for
have
it.
60 seconds to engage.
Are you saying that Are you saying that the society is filled with rapists and pedophiles? Are you saying that society is ungovernable?
Of course it is. I mean, all you need to do is just look at the stats. We need to make sure that before we put the LGBTI community in such a state, we are ready for it, that the people understand what it means. Things such as correctional rape should
What
tell
about
you
Section 9 of the Constitution? It is enshrined in Section 9 of the Constitution that we cannot discriminate
It is not discrimination, it is precaution. It is to make sure that they are safe. It is to make sure that people understand what this means. For a long time, people have just known male and female. Now, we're introducing this. We need to make sure that people are ready so that these people are safe, so that they know that they can go into a bathroom and that no one is going to say, you look like a man, what are you doing here?
But
we need to put education in place.
Thank you very much. Your time is up. You now have 30 seconds.
Ladies and gentlemen, Section 9 of the Constitution clearly states that we cannot discriminate deliberately or not in terms of sexual orientation or gender. Now, the toilets are written males, females. LGBT groups are not included there. We are denying the LGBT groups the freedom of choice. Who are we to tell the LGBT groups where to fit in? Ladies and gentlemen, the threats that she's talking about, these are threats.
All right, your time is up. Thank you very much. Judges, very heated as the last debate of the day. You can see just the passion of these contestants coming through as they argue their points. Catherine, your thoughts on that as our last debate of the day?
As our last debate, firstly, the topic is a really heavy topic and one that is such an important but very sensitive one. Sibonisile, I am blown away. I'm so impressed. You have clarity of thought. You came in with an actual proposal, education, awareness, and you really drove home your message. You stayed strong. You didn't get cluttered in all of the conversation that could have been had, and I just blown away. I really was really impressed. I think that you had an opponent who had a strong viewpoint as well, but time was limited within the space of the debate.
All right, judges, thank you very much. That is where we'll leave it. What an ending from our final debaters, South Africa. Who do you think will make it to our top 6? Of course, you can visit our Facebook page, One Day Leader SA, to share your comments on the debates and, of course, to name your favorite contestant. Also, visit our Twitter page at One Day Leader or hashtag One Day Leader 6. And we're careful, we reveal the judges' final decision. It's the top 6. Stay with us. Ang pinding namugelego One Day Leader Season 6 South Africa. It is crunch time. Now, we've officially closed our debates for the day. It's now up to the judges to let us know who our top 6 finalists are. Judges, before I collect the envelope with the 6 names, Tebogo, Catherine, I'd just like some closing statements from you.
I think for the leaders standing in front of us, firstly, well done. Congratulations to making it the top 20. There are young leaders sitting at home that didn't make it. We had so many entries that flooded, the inbox of this competition. But this season is going to be not only epic, but it's going to be tough. The 6 leaders that make it through need to know they need discipline, they need authenticity, and they need to have strength of character, because we as judges are not going to allow anyone to be less than what we believe they can be. And this is going to be one tough season for the 6 young leaders that go through.
Absolutely. Tebogo, I mean, our top 6 leaders will have a mountain to climb. It won't get any easier from here on. What is your advice to them?
Well, they've raised the bar and they've done very well. My advice to them is for them to have a vision. vision. There's a proverb from Ghana which says that the poorest person is not the person with the least money. It's the person without a vision. And I think that's very important. And what they're going to do during the show is to come up with ways in which to implement their vision and to shape it. And I think that's very important.
Well, powerful words indeed. I know you've made your decision. May I have the names, please? Well, before I reveal the top 6, I'd just like to congratulate each and every one of you for making it this far in the competition. Top 20 is quite an achievement. You can be proud of yourself. And for those of you who won't make it, this does not mean it's the end of your journey. This doesn't even mean that you can't be a leader. You can continue in your own environment, in your own community, and make that impact, make that difference. Leaders, I have 6 names before me. The 6 who make it through go through the television round of One Day Leader Season 6. Some of you came on very strong. Some of you cracked under pressure. The lights, television was too much for you today. But don't let that intimidate you next time. Some of you were brilliant. Some of you were clear. The judges heard some of you, and some of you not so much. Who made it through? Who wanted it badly enough? Who cracked under pressure? Who will fall on the wayside? It's a great mixture of leaders that we have this season. Judges, are you sure of the decision that you have made? Any changes, any last minute changes?
What do you think?
Well,
No, I think we're sure. I think we're sure.
The judges say they're sure. All right, you have to wait till next week as we reveal who our top 6 is. Before I go, I'd like to encourage you all with these words. A winner is a dreamer who never gives up. Inspirational words indeed from the late Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. From myself, Pearl Shongwe, we'll be back with the team next week as we announce the top 6 for One Day Leader Season 6. Take care.